Welcome to my channel. I'm hoping with this video to be able to explain how load shedding works in South Africa and how South Africans have to plan their lives around load shedding. Currently, South Africa has only one electricity supplier. Load shedding is used when the demand for electricity is greater than the supply, and there are many reasons why our natural electricity supplier cannot supply electricity to what the nation requires. It will be explained a little bit further on in the video. Partial shutdowns, ranging normally about 2.5 hours, unless it gets to stage 5 and 6, and then we do 4.5 hour stretches. But partial shutdowns are done throughout the day and night to prevent the grid from overloading. Currently there are 6 stages of load shedding, though dominantly stage 1 to 4 is used. They are talking about moving up to stage 8, which I must admit has got us rather concerned. When it does get to stage 5 and 6, things do get a little bit tougher, as the number of hours per day is quite extensive. Each stage of load shedding is based on the number of megawatts that needs to be cut, and the decision on the number of megawatts to be cut is done by the electricity supplier. Load shedding is on a rotational basis throughout the country, and to help this, each area within the country is divided up into a number, and each number has a different load shedding time. Our electricity supplier decides on the load shedding stages that is required during the day, and that would be on the number of megawatts needed to balance the national power grid. And load shedding stages can be with very little warning, sometimes only 10 minutes. They do try and give us ample warning, at least a couple of hours ahead. But sometimes if there's been a bad issue in one of the power plants, or there's been a lot of breakdowns, we only get a good 10 minutes warning. South Africans rely heavily on our load shedding apps due to the complexity of the load shedding stages, how quickly a stage can change, and there are different times for the same stage on a different day. So I've given in an example of just above. You'll see there's stage 3, and it's on 2 different days. And as you can see, some of the times are the same time slot, and others are not. So we do really have to rely heavily on our load shedding apps to be able to follow on that particular day what your time slot is. This slide is purely for information purposes. You're welcome to pause the video and have a quick read at what's listed on this slide. This is the main reasons given why the national power supply cannot supply to the country. And as you can see, it's a wide range, from corruption to aging power stations. Should you require further information, I would suggest you go and look on the internet, where they can give you really good detail and information on what causes these issues. This is a sample of a load shedding area. This is the Cape Peninsula where I live. You will see the Cape Peninsula has been divided up into different numbers, which relates to different load shedding times. Sometimes the time slots are the same within a load shedding stage, and sometimes our time slots are not the same. There are some major effects with consistent load shedding. We have an inability to maintain consistent working hours, especially if you're a small operator and you can't afford a generator. So when there's a load shedding time, you're down and your customers can't buy from you. We lose Wi-Fi connection, we have ATM and petrol disruptions, there's damage to equipment, traffic problems. Oh, they're awful because the traffic lights don't work. Security issues because your alarms don't work, and quite a lot of disruption to household activities. There is quite a cost to households on load shedding. You need to purchase portable gas cookers, rechargeable LED portable lights, torches. There's also fluctuations that happen and surges happen with electricity, and it affects televisions and computers and other electronic appliances. And there's even the insurance companies are now having a clause that says, should anything become damaged or any equipment become damaged due to load shedding, it will not be covered. So South Africans are trying alternative power sources like inputting solar, and installation of solar is very expensive. It really, really is. We also try and purchase non-perishable goods that can get us through the load shedding times. And people are looking at purchasing inverters and portable batteries so that they can, if they're working from home, they can keep their laptops going. Because if it's a stage 5 and 6 load shedding, which is 4.5 hours, a lot of laptops can't maintain that number of hours. There's also the purchasing of generators, but generators are expensive, and so is the diesel to keep the generators going. So there's quite a cost outlay for many households. This shows you the stages of load shedding and the number of hours of load shedding during the day or night, depending on the schedule. The average load shedding time is 2.5 hours per time slot, except when you hit stages 5 and 6, then you start hitting 4.5 hour time slots. So as you can see on stage 1, it sometimes happens every day. Sometimes you're lucky, you could have one day load shedding, one day not. You're looking at 2.5 hours once for the day. Stage 2, you're looking at 2.5 hours twice a day. So for stage 2, you can be without power for 5 hours. And so it goes up. When you hit stage 5 and stage 6, you're looking at 9.5 to 12.5 hours. I'm going to use this page to try and explain to you how load shedding works and how South Africans have to use their apps to monitor what's happening with load shedding. So when you see the top left hand corner, we will get notification that stage 1 is from 5 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and stage 3 is from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the morning. So we'll refer to our apps, and our apps will show us per day grids like you see on the 2 pages. So I've taken 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, and you will see stage 1. Stage 1 on the Monday has a time slot from 4 o'clock to 6:30, and on stage 1 for Tuesday, you've got no load shedding. So Tuesday's a lucky day. You're also lucky on Monday because that time slot of 4 o'clock to 6:30 actually falls outside the time slot given for stage 1, which runs from 5 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. For stage 3, if you look at stage 3 on the Monday and Tuesday, you will see some of the time slots are the same for stage 3 and some aren't. So you're going to have more load shedding on the Monday than you are on the Tuesday, if the times fall within the time given of 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the morning. So if we look on the Monday, you are going to have load shedding between midnight and 2:30 in the morning. You're going to be lucky because 8 o'clock to 10:30, you won't have load shedding because that falls outside the time slot for stage 3, and it's not included in the time slot for stage 1. And 4 o'clock to 6:30, you will have load shedding because it does fall in the time slot given for stage 3, which is 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the morning. If you look at Tuesday, you will see 8 to 10:30, that falls outside for stage 3, that falls outside the 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the morning. So you won't have that time slot of load shedding. And it's certainly not in stage 1, because stage 1 you don't have any that day. You're really lucky. But the 4 o'clock to 6:30, you will have load shedding because they're telling you that stage 3 is going to run from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the morning. And you need to bear in mind the 4 o'clock to 6:30 is home time from work. So the traffic lights don't work. The traffic is absolutely dreadful. It's dinner time. Children come home after school. They've had sports or they've had extra classes and they're hungry. You've got to have made sure that you have food ready. If you're lucky enough to have a mature household, then you can maybe wait till 6:30 before you start cooking. I want you to look at stage 5 and 6 and really look at the times, because you will see that that's where we start the 4.5 hour time slots. So if you look at stage 5 on the Monday, you will see that you've got from 4 o'clock to 8:30 home time, food time. It's a horrible time. So you've got a 4.5-hour time slot there. And if you look at stage 6, you've got 2 on the Monday. You've got from 8 to 12:30, and then you've got again at 4 o'clock to 8:30. There's only 3.5 hours between 12:30 and 4 o'clock to be able to try and recharge your batteries, to try and get your washing done. There's quite a lot of planning that needs to take place when there's load shedding. The 2.5 hours seems to be more manageable, and you can manage the 2.5 hours, and you can manage in between these longer periods of time between the load shedding times. But when you start hitting stage 5 and stage 6, you really start having to plan your day and plan when you're cooking and your washing's done, and being aware that it's going to take you even longer to get home than normal, because the traffic is just absolutely awful at that time because none of the traffic lights work. So a lot of planning needs to be done for South Africans around load shedding. I'm hoping this slide will be able to show you the variations of load shedding times we have within the same area and for different areas within a stage of load shedding. So if we take stage 1 for area A on the Monday and area B on the Monday, you will see stage 1 for area A is 4 to 6:30 in the afternoon, but for area B it's 8 o'clock to 10:30 in the morning. And on the Tuesday for area B, it's 4 o'clock to 6:30 in the afternoon. So you have to plan different things for your Monday and your Tuesday. If you look at stage 3 for area A, it's got 3 time slots for stage 3, but area B is lucky on the Monday and Tuesday. They only have 2 time slots. Some of the times you can see coincide with the different areas. They happen to have the same time slot. But for the rest of the time slots, there's no similarity. So one really has to refer to your apps and planning your life and your day around the time slots given for each load shedding time. And you have to take into account the time period that the electricity supplier has given you for each time slot. Like on the previous page, stage 1 was during the day, stage 3 was during the evening. So you would need to go and refer to your app for your different days to see where your stage 1 would fall in with the time slots given and where stage 3 would fall in with the time slots given. I hope this video has helped you get a better understanding of the complexity of load shedding or rolling blackouts in South Africa, and how complex it can be, and how South Africans really have to plan around the load shedding. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you